Some of the angry protests in the streets over the recent police killings of unarmed black men in 3 U.S. cities. Those deaths have reopened old wounds in American society that never really healed. During the last presidential election hour, Paul Hunter traveled to Titusville, Florida, where residents described the obstacles race presented in their lives. In the wake of the latest deaths, Paul went back to Titusville to see what they're doing about what may be America's unsolvable problem.
Many hundreds of kilometers away from the anger in Ferguson, Missouri, sits Titusville, Florida. It's a kind of suburb to Cape Canaveral. With its Spanish moss and sun-bleached roadways, it feels far from everywhere. But Titusville is a lot closer than you'd think to Ferguson and to the angry marchers now in New York and elsewhere. Like so many U.S. cities, Titusville shares a renewed frustration that America just can't get past its race-based intolerance. At the St. James African Methodist Episcopal Church in Old Titusville, it's Unity in the Community night. And the black church, at least for this night, has turned mixed race. It's yet another push to end America's bitter racial divide. Tonight, the symbolism is strong, but equally so is the fear of inaction. Reverend Glenn Dames.
And I tell my son, unfortunately, sometimes the color of your skin will matter to some people. So much so that you can become a threat and maybe even suffer death.
So it was rebuilt on the spot where it stood?
On the spot where it stood.
Huh.
In Titusville, that's underlined by some sobering local history.
Keep thinking about it, right? Like don't
forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget. This is a replica of the house that Harry T. Moore and his wife Harriet lived in the dreadful night they were bombed and killed.
Some call Harry and Harriet Moore America's first civil rights martyrs, killed by a bomb blast set by white supremacists on Christmas night, 1951. At the time of the blast, the Moores had been among those accusing local white police of wrongly shooting to death a black man.
When you think of the Moors and you think of Ferguson,
yeah,
what do you think next?
It's hard not to see some parallels.
Says Dames, that's disheartening in a country that 6 years ago dared to dream that its racial divide might finally be over.
We have our first African-American president elected. And then we have a cadre of young black men who have lost their lives in very similar situations to black boys in 1951. And you wonder, how far have we come? Where are we going? What's next? What are we gonna do?
Nowadays in Missouri, they shout, "Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!" In New York, it's, "I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe!" We are all Trayvon Martin! 2 years ago, the symbol of black Americans wrongly killed was Trayvon Martin's hoodie. Martin lived just down the road from Titusville, a city which itself this past summer had pamphlets left on doorsteps from the Ku Klux Klan. 100 years ago, they marched in Washington, D.C. 100 years later, Americans wonder, how far has this country really come? And many worry protests alone won't fix it. So, in Titusville, they're trying something else.
Well, hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I like it. One more time. Good morning. Good morning. All right,
at Coquina Elementary School, a new program for kids deemed at risk of having run-ins with the law. Among today's mentors, Reverend Dames.
And so we're going to talk today. And we're going to make sure that we listen, and we're going to learn, all right?
These boys have heard all about Ferguson and those who say white police can treat young black men differently.
Do you know if the man who shot Michael Brown, did he go to jail, or did he?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's not a cop anymore. He resigned.
Even at this age, they believe that in America, race leads to biased policing.
Because that some people of our color, they do bad, and that means that they think that we do bad too.
The hard truth, they're told, is that life for young black men in America remains harder.
Yes, by far, yes. Yes, and it hasn't changed in umpteen thousand years. It's still the same. We as African Americans, we have to work twice as hard to get to where we want to be in life.
And so as America pushes for broad change, these boys are told that the best way to ensure run-ins with the police don't lead to trouble is to not have run-ins with the police, period.
And sometimes that's hard to do. But if you make a mistake, brush your knees off, get back up, and get back in the fight. And I guarantee you, if you do that, it'll work out, all right?
Yes, sir.
And in case you ain't watched TV lately,
Yeah, Lord.
it's urgent.
Yes, it's urgent. We've been watching.
And so with the world watching.
And so it is that Titusville tries to move toward better times, to escape its own history and to protect those here today. To underline the need to unite, a guest pastor.
There's a hole in the world today, that's what I said. And we need to fix it.
As demonstrations elsewhere push political leaders, people here underline a complicated truth.
Sometimes you have to go the extra step to be extra careful just so you can stay alive. The onus is on us. It's disheartening, but that's where we are in 2014. And so we're trying to teach our children early how to make the right choices, how to make wise choices. And quite frankly, yes, we're trying to keep them alive.
That's not to say let's give up on protests and demonstrations that press for an end to America's racial divide, but it's a recognition that change doesn't come fast in a country still searching for answers. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Titusville, Florida.